Okay, this video will be a brief couple minutes long about working with families, and what I want to emphasize is the shift in thinking that occurs when you move from being a individual counselor to a family counselor. It's really not just about a using new techniques and using those new therapeutic techniques with more than one person at a time. More importantly than using a set of family counseling techniques versus a set of individual counseling techniques, working with families involves this paradigmatic shift in thinking. And so as a family counselor, you no longer see one individual as your client, but you see the whole family system as your client. So you're not necessarily advocating for any one individual in that family more often than others. You're advocating for improvement in the structure and well-being of that family as a collective unit. And that's a real fundamental shift in thinking that occurs. And I think it's something that we will see happen in the classroom when we start doing our role plays later in the semester. Oftentimes in this class, when we do those role plays, someone will say, wouldn't it be easier if we took this individual who's having the problem out of this family and just worked with them one-on-one? And so that would recognize that scenario. I hope that it comes up, and I hope we'll have a chance to talk about it, would be one in which the individual raising that point is still seeing things from an intrapsychic point of view. And the intrapsychic point of view says that problems are solely or mainly located within an individual's mind, or within an individual, the feelings that an individual has in reaction to things that are occurring in their environment. And that's definitely an important avenue of work that we need to keep pursuing. But there's also this systems way of thinking that the family counselor employs. And that way of thinking says the interactional patterns that are happening between family members is every bit as important as what's going on in the individual hearts and minds of those family members. So I hope that that's clear. It's something we'll keep talking about as we move through the semester, because it really gets to how we as counselors conceptualize the issues that our clients bring to us. And conceptualization is a really important skill because it guides your treatment planning. So case conceptualization involves casting a wide net to determine what are all the issues that are being presented to you as the professional, and then looking at those issues and determining themes, determining diagnoses, and then creating a plan for how you will address those. And as in individual counseling, in family counseling, creating that treatment plan should be a collaborative process that the family is also involved in. I think it's a good idea to note here that there has been a lot of family bashing, in particular mother bashing, in our field historically. A lot of research was done initially on the ways that families screw up and mess up and harm individuals. And there has been historically, but more currently, there has been less interest or focus and research on collecting data about how families are resilient and try to improve in their lives. We, as a culture, have often valued the spirit of the rugged individual and the individualist, and we have not really prized collective efforts as much as we have valued an individual who's really able to help themselves succeed. And so given that that's the culture that we come from, but isn't the culture that all of our families find themselves located in, we as family counselors really need to have a sense of value and respect for the collective effort that the family makes in trying to function and sustain all of the members within that unit. Oftentimes when individuals come into into counseling one-on-one, they want to talk about their family members. They, as adults, may be coming in and talking about experiences that they had as a child that are still troublesome to them. They may be talking about current relationships within their families that are troublesome to them. And I think that as an individual counselor, sometimes we can get caught up in the compassion that we feel for the person that's sitting in the room with us, and not and be so invested in understanding from their point of view that we aren't conceptualizing the issue from that system's point of view, and seeing that this person who's here with us is part of a family unit, and within that unit there are patterns of behavior that this individual contributes to, even when they are troublesome to that individual. So it feels good to come to counseling as an individual and talk and be heard and be validated, and be understood about these problems that are happening in our families. And it seems messy and vulnerable to bring in those people in our family who are the ones that are making us feel upset. It seems just very maybe even counterintuitive to think about coming with people that are considered to be part of the problem, and doing therapy with them. But it's actually can be highly productive and incredibly meaningful for people who are willing to take the risk and to bring those all the family members into the therapy room. There are some situations where working with a family as opposed to an individual is even more valuable than others. And so sometimes when a family approach would be preferable to working with individuals would be in nearly all situations in which a child is involved. Whoever the guardians are should be involved in the work that is being done to address an issue with a child. When there are issues of complaints between members of a couple, whether that be a partnership or a dating relationship or other type of commitment, when one of those members comes into counseling and spends session after session venting and describing the woes of their partner, research indicates, especially when it's the woman coming in and talking, that that partnership is more likely to break up. So if the goal is to help improve that couple relationship, then both of those partners really need to come in, and possibly also any children that are involved, to improve the situation. The research indicates that couples counseling would be much more effective at helping improve marital or relationship functioning than those individuals coming in each to their own therapist and talking about the other one. Other times when family counseling would be preferential to individual counseling would be if there's a major family feud that's been going on, then bringing all the parties involved into the room, and the family counselor acting as somewhat of a mediator and helping to bring resolution to that feud can be very beneficial. And then also when a family is experiencing a lot of transition. As I said in class last week, when a person enters and exits into that family system, those are incredibly stressful times on that family. Even if the entrance or the exit is a positive event such as a birth, it's still a very stressful time. The entire structure of the family and all of those interactional patterns has to change to accommodate the entrance or exit of a family member. And these entrances and exits happen all of the time. A parent who leaves and comes back after serving time in prison or time in the military, or just going away for their job and then returning. A parent who has had a major illness and had to step down from their role as a parent for a short time but is wanting to resume those parental functions. Those are all sorts of entrances and exits within the family system that are stressful family transitions. And so we would want to be working with the family as a group rather than just any one of those individuals one-on-one, preferably during those times. What I hope that you will get out of this class is not that family counseling is a preferred method to individual counseling all of the time, but that it is one valuable option, and that there are times when we need to work with individuals, there are times when we need to work with families, and there are times when we need to work with individuals and their families in conjunction together. So we really need to be looking at the whole picture when we're working with families, and understand that family counseling is not just different techniques and not just putting more people in your room, but it is an actual shift in your thinking and a shift in your conceptualization of a client problem, from one where you think linearly, in a linear fashion, from point A causes point B, but you think more in a circle of A leads to B, and B leads to C, and C leads back to A, which then A goes back to C, and the whole circle goes around and forward and backward, and there's this entire interaction that we're interested in learning more about as family counselors. And the benefit of that is that individuals can feel empowered to understand their role in problems, rather than just blaming others for their problems, or blaming themselves for problems that really result from things involved with other people. So family counseling, it can be incredibly powerful. I'm looking forward to getting to the point in the semester where we're practicing some of these skills and techniques in our role plays, and also talking through the conceptualization issues involved in the role plays that we do.